Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Mooneyham from 680 The Fan, and welcome to this week's edition of My Take. Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate you tuning in. And, by the way, now that we're winding down football season, I also failed to mention, I just mentioned there at the beginning that I work for 680 The Fan. Also, I do obviously some work for the Touchdown Club of Atlanta and for the NFHS Network. And now that the network's coverage of the high school football season has come to a close, thanks for tuning in with us all year long on the NFHS Network. I know over the last 2 weeks, I have had two absolutely incredible playoff games. And then also from all of us at the Touchdown Club of Atlanta, thanks for joining us all fall long at our various meetings at the College Football Hall of Fame and, of course, at 103 West in Buckhead. And also make sure you visit the Touchdown Club of Atlanta's website for further details on the festivities we have coming up in the very near future. Awards being given away. Make sure you tune in for that. Well, now, what an amazing semifinal weekend we had across the state of Georgia. We know in the 6A classification it's going to be Roswell and Colquitt County. I saw Colquitt County a couple of weeks ago in their victory over South Forsyth, and I'm going to tell you something. South Forsyth could have won that ball game, and that's what Colquitt's been doing over the last few years. They've been facing great opponents, but once it gets to the fourth quarter and gets to crunch time, they absolutely pull away. And now they're back at the Dome for the second consecutive year, trying to become only the third team in state history. Only the third team in state history. And this sounds remarkable, but it's true. It sounds unbelievable, and it is remarkable and true. But they could become only the third team in the rich, illustrious Georgia high school football history to go undefeated and untied in back-to-back years and win a state title. And they will be the favorites against Roswell. But mark my words, if there's one team in the 6A classification that absolutely can go toe-to-toe with Colquitt, I certainly believe it is Roswell. They have so much athleticism at all levels of the field. And I mean literally all levels. You choose a position on the field, and they have an incredible amount of athletes. Roswell takes down Grayson, a dramatic victory in the semifinals over in Grayson, or Loganville to be more precise, but they come away with the victory nonetheless. Colquitt pulls away from Mill Creek for a 20-point victory in a ball game that was absolutely wild. They put 52 on a great Mill Creek defense. Colquitt, the favorite in that one, certainly. And I'm not going to pick who I think will win the championships. I'll be on the play-by-play of the 5A state championship game. I'm going to give you the schedule, by the way, of the championship games coming up at the end of the blog this week. But remember, here in the local Atlanta area, you can hear the games on the 680 The Fan family of networks. Of course, you can watch them on GPB, but if you can't get around the television, you can watch them, listen to them on 680 The Fan, 93.7 FM, 1230 The Fan 2, and 1340 The Fan 3, depending on the ball game, the time of day, what day it is, as to what station you'll have to listen to. I'll be on the play-by-play of the 5A state championship game Friday. I'll be joined by Justin Hanover and Chip Yagi, and what a ball game it's going to be. Allatoona looks to win that elusive state championship for a Cobb County school system, another one of the great stats, unbelievable stats in this state's history. A Cobb County school system club has never won a state title. Allatoona looks to break that drought. Of course, Marietta City School won back in 67, and Mount Perrin won back in, last year, a private school. They'll face Glenn Academy. The playoff run for Glenn Academy has been absolutely unbelievable. 4 consecutive one-possession games. Expect us to talk a lot about that on Friday night. 4 consecutive one-possession games in the tournament, and each game has come down to either the final play or the final 15 seconds of play. What an amazing, dramatic run. Again, we'll talk more about that during our broadcast on Friday night. 4A, I've said it all year. Before the season, I actually said I believe Cartersville is going to win the state championship. Somehow Buford doesn't win it this year. And I had a sneaking suspicion Buford wouldn't even make the championship. I was wrong. Of course, I also have tried to train myself to say don't ever pick against Buford, but you see how that went. If there's ever a team that can beat Buford, it is Cartersville. They are tremendously athletic, kind of like that comparison that I made with Roswell and Colquitt. But here's the thing. If you slow down Trevor Lawrence or shut down Trevor Lawrence, the Cartersville quarterback, you can beat those guys. And Buford, better than anybody in this state, does an amazing job of slowing down the top flight players for a particular squad. And they may be able to do it in the state championship game again. Remember, Buford going for a 9th title. What is it, 9th title? Yeah, I think I have the numbers here in front of me somewhere. I think they're going for their 9th title in the last 10 years, or 8 and 9. I've lost track. That tells you how many that they have. How about 3A? No Calhoun in the state championship game. I had Calhoun and Cedar Grove in the state championship game before the season started. They both made the state semifinals. But Blessed Trinity takes out the defending state champions in Calhoun, 12-7, the final in that one. It was a dramatic ball game. BT was down 7-2 at the half, but obviously scored 10 unanswered in that second half to win the ball game. Westminster wins 4 consecutive road games to get to the state title game. Unbelievable run by Westminster. And again, I don't mean to brag or pat myself on the back, but I will, only because I don't mind blasting myself publicly when I'm wrong. I figure if I'm going to, I should do both equally. And I was right about Westminster. I've been saying all year, they got off to a slow start. They lost 2 games that they shouldn't have, but that's because they had a lot of injured guys at that time, and some of their best players were struggling as well. They lost to Therrell, for goodness sake. No offense to Therrell, but they did. And everybody said, oh, well, Westminster's down. This is not the team we thought they were. And I said, hold on now. Slow your roll. Just be careful a little bit. This team can still make a run come the postseason. Look at the bracket they're in. And they did it. And now 4 road wins later, Westminster will face Blessed Trinity in the state championship game. In 2A, Fitzgerald and Pace Academy. Not surprised by Fitzgerald at all. But a little surprised by Pace. I called on 680 The Fan. Our game of the week one week was GAC and Pace. And Pace has a lot of talent, but I just didn't know if they were putting it all together in 2015. They lost by 20 points to GAC in that game we called. Well, it was almost completely reversed when they met in the state semifinals. Pace 45, GAC 20. What a ball game for Gunnar Falk, one of the great young quarterbacks in our state, just a sophomore, and of course his top flight wide receiver in Trey Blunt. All right, single A classification, Clinch and Irwin. What a matchup. There's almost nothing else I need to say. If you know your South Georgia football, Clinch goes for another state championship, and Irwin trying to finish what they started last year. Remember, Irwin was the state runner-up in 1A Public last year. Last week, I was over in Augusta, saw Aquinas and Stratford Academy. I'm begging you, I'm imploring you, please check out my broadcast. You can turn the sound down if you like, if you're not a big fan of my play-by-play, but at least check out Aquinas versus Stratford Academy in the state semifinals. You will not be disappointed. What a ball game. I mean, what a ball game between Stratford and Aquinas. Aquinas has never mind the fact they were down 14-6 at the half. They scored 22 straight points to take a 28-14 lead with 3 minutes left. And they had the football, and they were running out the clock. But then Stratford gets the football, goes down quickly. Remember, they're a wing T offense, but they go down the field quickly. They score. They use some bombs, by the way, deep passes to score, get a touchdown, miss an extra point. So it's 28-20. Now they know they've got to have a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and they got to do it in the next 2 minutes. They recover an onside kick, get down the field on a bomb, score a touchdown with about a minute and a half left, and then get the 2-point conversion. And I'm ruining the ball game for you, but it's still worth watching. On a straight snap to the running back, where the quarterback was acting like he was directing traffic, he came out from his shotgun set, acted like he was directing traffic. They straight snap to the running back, Casey Sanders. He then tosses it over to Quintez Cephas, who's coming on the end around. Cephas comes rolling out to the right and ends up throwing in the corner for the 2-point conversion to the quarterback. Game tied at 28. I won't tell you how the rest of it went, but Aquinas ended up winning the ball game. And a whole lot more action happened in that next minute and a half. Aquinas comes out with a victory, and now their reward, well, they get to face Elka for the state championship, who absolutely blows the doors off of Prince Avenue Christian. And Elka, well, they try to finish what they started last year as well. Remember, they won 7 consecutive ball games last year to reach the state championship. It's going to be an amazing 2-day affair, as it always is down at the Georgia Dome. Really quick, your schedule. Here's how it looks. It starts Friday, December 11th, as most of you know, 1 p.m., 1A Public, Clinch and Irwin. 4:30, 3A. At 4:30 p.m., the kickoff of the 3A championship game, Westminster and Blessed Trinity. And then, of course, the nightcap at 8 p.m., the 5A state championship between Glenn Academy and Allatoona. I'm almost certain your broadcast schedule here in the metro Atlanta area is going to be 12:30 or 13:40 for the first 2 games. maybe both stations, and then 680 93.7 will pick up the night game. On Saturday, December 12th, we start bright and early at 10 a.m. The 1A private game, Elka and Aquinas for the state title. Again, 12:30 and 13:40. 1 p.m. AA, Fitzgerald Pace Academy. 4:30 is going to be the 4A game, Buford and Cartersville. And then the nightcap, the big boy, the 6A classification state championship. Kickoff at around 8 p.m. That'll be on 680 The Fan, 93.7 FM, when Colquitt meets Roswell. We'll see you next week with our championship game recap. And until next week, I'm Chris Mooneyham for My Take.